Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November meeting for the zoning board, the zoning hearing board for the city of Reading. We have 5 decisions that we will make based on appeals we heard in the month of October. I'm going to introduce the members of the board first. Jared,
Jared Bartz, member of the board.
Jeff,
Jeff Catone, member of the board.
Charlie,
Charlie Jones, alternate member of the board.
okay, Bill.
Bill Horst, member of the board.
I'm Phil Rabina, member of the board. Steve,
Steve Price, solicitor to the board.
Emily.
Emily Diaz-Melendez, zoning office.
Okay, thank you. And we'll begin with the following decision. Appeal 2408-0021. It was 1501 Mineral Spring Road. Mr. Price,
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested, subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make the motion.
Is
I'll
there a
second.
second? There's a second. Are there questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
The next appeal is 2408-0024, 546 South 9th Street. Mr. Price,
Is there a motion to deny the relief requested?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments on the motion to deny? Hearing none, all in favor to deny, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it.
The next appeal is 2409-0025, 928 North 13th Street.
Is there a
Mr. Price,
motion to approve the relief requested, subject to the conditions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make the motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any comments with respect to the motion? Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the relief set forth, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right. The next matter is, the next appeal is 2409-0026. It is 746 to 748 North 9th Street. Mr. Price,
Is there a motion to deny the relief requested?
I'll make the motion.
okay, I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to deny the relief. All in favor to deny the relief, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it. Denied.
Okay. And the last appeal, 2409-0027, 520 Washington Street. Mr. Price,
Is there a motion to approve the relief requested, subject to the provisions set forth in the written decision?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Are there questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. And just so anybody who's listening to this, because something is approved, it does not necessarily mean that people have gotten everything they want. There's many different kinds of approvals, and there are certain things that we put in these decisions that people need to follow before their final permits are issued. So I just want to make that clear to people. All right, we have some hearings this evening on the following matters. We have Appeal 2408-0028, 1506 North 13th Street. Laminda Aries is seeking a special exception approval to use the property as a daycare center. The applicant is also seeking to appeal the zoning officer's determination. In the alternative, the applicant is seeking a variance to use the property as a daycare center. A variance for the off-street parking requirements and other relief as required. The subject property is located in the R2 residential zoning district and the Heights Conservation District. The owners of record are Yolminda Aries and Genesis Munoz.
Okay,
Emily,
I'm
notice-
sorry, I believe the interpreter is needed for this one. I don't know if you want to swear me
Yes,
in
why
first.
don't you? Okay, thank you.
Interpreter, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will make an accurate, complete, and impartial interpretation from the English language into the Spanish language and vice versa of all communication during this proceeding using your best skill, judgment, and ability, and that you abide by the rules of professional conduct for judiciary interpreters, and so do you swear or affirm?
I affirm Ken Olivo certified court interpreter. I've been so certified since 2009. And this is the interpretation of what Phil said before. Aquí vamos ahora a ver la apelación 2408-0028 para el 1506 norte de la calle 13. Iluminada Arias está buscando la aprobación de una excepción especial para utilizar la propiedad como una guardería de niños. La solicitante también está tratando de apelar la determinación del oficial de zonificación. Como alternativa, la solicitante pide una variación para utilizar la propiedad como una guardería de niños, una variación para requisitos de estacionamiento fuera de la calle y otras de estacionamiento fuera de las vías públicas y otras excepciones necesarias está pidiendo. La propiedad en cuestión está ubicada en el distrito de zonificación residencial R2 y en el distrito de conservación de las alturas o heights. Residencial R2 y el distrito de conservación anterior dicho. La propiedad está registrada a Iluminada Arias y Génesis Muñoz.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Would you?
I don't know if
swear
they,
in
I
on-
don't know if the person who needs to interpret is here, Phil.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the applicant doesn't appear to be on. I had sent the agenda with the link and the staff report to them, and I did not receive any communication back. So I don't know how you would like to proceed.
All right, how
It's
about we
not-
do, go,
it's
how
not
about we
something-
do this? Just put them at the end of the hearing. Steve, that's usually what we do, and if they don't show up,
Deny it.
yeah,
Okay,
all right. So this appeal will be moved to the end of the agenda. All right, the next matter before us is Appeal 2410-0029 1212 Perkiomen Avenue. Property Net LLC is proposing to subdivide the lot. They propose to use the rear residential building as 2 dwelling units and are seeking an interpretation that the building is pre-existing non-conforming. The applicant is seeking variances for minimal lot size and off-street parking requirements to accommodate the subdivision. The subject property is located in the R3 residential zoning district and the Penns Common Historic District. The owner of the property is Property Net LLC. Okay, would you swear in our zoning officer, please?
Emily, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Has notice for this appeal been given?
It has.
Thank you. Mr. Price.
Thanks. I'll put some exhibits into the record and then I'm gonna have a question just for Ms. London. Exhibit number 1 is the notice. Exhibit number 2 is proof of publication of the notice. Exhibit number 3 is proof of posting of the notice. Exhibit number 4 is the application, including all of its attachments. And exhibit number 5 is the zoning ordinance of the city of Reading as amended. Ms. London, you want to enter your appearance?
Yes, Joan, middle initial E, London, London, Kozloff Stout, 2640 Westview Drive, Wyomissing 19610 for the applicant Property Net LLC.
Ms. London, it appears that the only thing we're looking here for is a variance from minimum lot size because all these residential units exist currently, correct?
That's correct. Yes, and I sent in a clarification last week to just to make that clear that the issue was the lot size.
And what is the reason, if I may ask, why they want to subdivide this and have two separate properties? Do you know?
Yes, I mean, Mr. Musa from PropertyNet is here, but I can tell you that it's for purposes of separate utility metering and connection. They have to be on separate lots for that purpose under RAWA's regulations.
Reading Area Water Authority?
Yes,
All right, why don't you do an offer of proof and we'll go from there.
that's fine. PropertyNet LLC is the owner of the property at 1212 Perkiomen Avenue. That property is 7/100ths of an acre, which is approximately 3,226 square feet. It's comprised of a front building and a back building, with the back building having a separate address than the front building. It's a 12th Street address. It has always existed in that condition and configuration since PropertyNet purchased it. PropertyNet, the sole member is Naveed Musa, who is here tonight. The buildings are being used as apartment buildings. They're pre-existing apartments, 6 apartments, and Mr. Musa is in the process of renovating them. Attached with the application are photographs of the renovation work on the apartments to keep them up to current code and aesthetically attractive. We're asking to subdivide the lot for purposes of utility connection. There is a drawing that it was prepared by John W. Hoffert that shows the lot, and it's an odd-shaped lot with frontage on 12th Street as well as along Perkiomen Avenue, and showing the 2 buildings, one clearly at the front of the property along Perkiomen, the other on South 12th Street. And it shows the lot configuration as a long, narrow, and oddly shaped lot. The lots, I believe, would be divided, and Mr. Musa can confirm this, at about 35-65 or 60-40. So it'd be divided approximately 2/3, 1/3. Again, to allow for the separate utility connections as being required. There would be no changes to the use. There would be no changes to the appearance of the property. There would be no additional apartments, no additional vehicles, no additional traffic. Aesthetic changes only for purposes of improvement, but this is strictly for purposes of utility connections. Again, Mr. Musa is here and available to be sworn and testify to confirm what I've just stated.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any questions.
I realize that when you divide that, you're going to have 2 lots that do not meet the square footage requirement. How far under are they under the requirements? Did anybody do that math?
The requirement for low-rise apartments, which is a use permitted by right in the R3 district, is 3,000 square feet. There's already the pre-existing condition of 2 buildings of low-rise apartments on a 3,200 square foot lot. So it is a pre-existing nonconformity to have those 2 buildings there.
All right. And the planning commission does not need to get involved in this since they're dividing the properties?
They will. They will need to do a minor subdivision plan, so it will go through planning commission. Public Works will put in their input. They will most likely have to do sewer planning modules. So it will get their review.
Okay.
Mr. Musa, will you agree to planning commission approval and submission of planning modules as a condition?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any member of the board have any question?
No.
Seeing none. Does anybody in the audience have any questions? Seeing none. Anybody wish to testify for granting this application? Seeing none. Anybody wish to testify against granting the application? Seeing none. Therefore, we will close this appeal. We'll issue a decision at next month's meeting. We thank all of you. And if there's anybody else that has anything to add before I do this,
Yes, I'd like to thank Ms. London for the beautiful explanation, and I mean this seriously.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't until I looked at the picture, because as a mathematics person, this is 1212 Perkiomen Avenue. The address in the back is 121 South 12th Street. I thought there was a missing digit. It had me going there for a while until it was explained. That I'll tell you, it had me going. I was going crazy. So thanks for the picture, and as usual, your explanations are quite excellent. So thanks again.
Thank you. Picture's worth 1,000 words, so we can
Yes.
give credit to John W.
Yes.
Huffer too.
isn't that the truth? Okay. All right. We'll move on to our next appeal. It is 2410-0030, 101 and 103 South 10th Street. Henry A. Cruz is requesting a special exception approval to expand a lounge use to allow a restaurant in addition to the current use. The applicant is also seeking a variance for a restaurant use, a variance to permit the current signage to remain in place, and a variance to permit leased off-street parking spaces to be greater than 300 feet from the property, and a variance to the total parking required. The subject property is located in the R3 residential zoning district, and the owner of record is Henry A. Cruz. Would you swear in our zoning officer, please?
Emily, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Has notice for this appeal been given?
It has.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Price.
Yes, I'll put some exhibits into the record. Exhibit number 1 is the notice. Exhibit number 2 is proof of publication of the notice. Exhibit number 3 is proof of posting of the notice. Exhibit number 4 is the application, including all of its attachments. And exhibit number 5 is the zoning ordinance of the city of Reading as amended. And I believe Ms. London is participating in this hearing as well.
I
Okay,
am. I'll enter my appearance.
go ahead.
Joan, middle initial E, London, London, Kozloff Stout, 2640 Westview Drive, Wyomissing 19610 for the applicants.
All right. You want to give us an offer of proof here?
I will. I have Henry Cruz Senior and Henry Cruz Junior here. Henry Cruz Senior is the owner of the property. If there are any questions, both are available to answer. I would ask Henry Cruz Junior. However, any questions, he will be involved with the operations of the restaurant and is involved with the operations of the existing lounge. And he's more English proficient. So I would direct questions to Henry Cruz Jr.
Is this the old Alkline's paddock? Do you know, John?
Yes,
I believe it is. And,
Yes, it
and
is.
Cruz Jr. is nodding his head.
Yep.
So yes,
yes.
Okay.
Okay, do your offer of proof, please?
sure. There's a currently operating business at 101, 103 South 10th Street, known as Rancho Merengue. It operates primarily as a lounge and has been in business since 2006. Attached to the application are city council minutes of May 30th, 2006, allowing the use as a restaurant. It is mainly an establishment that serves neighborhood residents. It is an establishment with a liquor license, and the establishment has operated without incident during its years in operation. What we're asking this board for tonight is a variance to expand the operations for a restaurant, including a second floor roof deck, which would operate during hours when the lounge would not be open. This is in response to customer demands for nice restaurants in city neighborhoods. The hours of operation would be approximately 4 to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, and it would not be in operation, if approved, at the same time as the lounge would be in operation. There are plans attached to the application. They were prepared by Drafting Solutions. These show the improvements that the owners would like to make. Those improvements are the kitchen, indoor-outdoor bar, and indoor and outdoor seating. It will have a liquor license. It would be a secondary service area. It would be a place to have supper. There would not be outdoor music or outdoor dining after 9 p.m. Odors and smoke from cooking would be vented in a way that would not bother the neighbors. And of course, the recommendations of the fire marshal would be complied with. We are requesting parking variances. Rancho Merengue currently does not have parking. The owners, if they were to testify, would testify that they've looked for parking within a 300-foot radius. It's very limited. They have leases for parking, which were attached to the application. And those leases are for spaces. I believe that it is 29 spaces. We're also requesting a variance to allow spaces at 927, 929 Franklin Street. I believe that is an additional 4 spaces, which are 304, and that's 314 feet away, just beyond the 300 feet. So we're asking for a de minimis variance for that. We do understand that we would need to get, or the applicants understand they would need to get a permit for parking for that to be used as a parking area. The owners will testify that they would provide for valet parking to avoid restaurant patrons taking up space on the street or parking illegally, and would instruct their employees to also park in designated spaces. We're seeking a variance for the sign at Rancho Merengue, for which there has been a notice from the city. They're requesting that because of the need for a sign which is visible from the frontages of the property. The sign is the sign that is currently in place, and they would agree to get the proper permits for that if the variances were granted. They have made no changes to the size or height of the building since 2006. No changes to the size or shape of the lot since its acquisition in 2006. There has been support from local officials, and I've forwarded to the board, and I believe it is with the board's exhibit packets, a letter from Mayor Moran, a letter from State Representative Cepeda Freites. And we believe that the restaurant would not only not have any negative impacts, but would also have a positive impact by having a nice neighborhood dining option. I would like Mr. Cruz to testify to a couple of specifics regarding the plan, if he could be sworn.
Okay, if you want to swear him in, please.
Sure. Can you raise your right hand, please? Which Cruz?
Henry Cruz Jr.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Cruz, did you hear and understand my offer of proof?
Yes.
And if you were asked questions, would you give the same as answers?
Yes.
What would be your approximate number of restaurant seats?
Approximately, it would be up to 100 seats. It wouldn't be anything that large in our plans, but up to 100 seats.
Right, and so would that be approximately up to 25 tables, 4 per table?
Yeah.
And how many employees does Rancho Merengue have now?
We currently employ 9 employees.
And would there be any additional employees as a result of the restaurant being allowed if permitted?
Yes, so we would be looking to hire anywhere from 5 to 7 employees.
Okay, would they be on the site all at the same time?
Yes.
Now, do the plans that were attached to the application show the improvements that you want to make?
Yeah, and that includes the kitchen, dining area, roof deck, and bathrooms.
And do you agree that if the variances were granted, that you would instruct employees and customers to park only in designated spaces and utilize the off-site parking and valet parking?
Yes.
I don't have any further questions for Mr. Cruz.
I have a question. Is the upstairs deck area, is that going to be enclosed in any way, like with a tent or screening? Because what I'm thinking about is if you're trying to run a restaurant and you've got bad weather, you know, or is it just going to be open all the time?
So I'm assuming that's a question for me.
Yes,
It
sir.
is.
I'm sorry.
All right. So if you look at the property as it is at the moment, so 101's second floor is completely closed. It's concrete, completely closed, finished. There will be a division between the roof deck and the roof deck is going to be on 103, and then the closed portion is going to be on 101. So there's going to be basically a partition. So for in times that we have inclement weather, everybody could just move in. And then in times that we don't expect to have inclement weather, then we can have, the nice roof deck seating.
Okay,
There's a picture there.
that answers my question. Thank you. Any other members of the board have any question?
Yes, just a quick one. As you know, we had a situation similar to this at the Pike Cafe. And I sort of make this as the analogy that this will be the sort of the Pike Cafe South, Southern. Sounds like a very good idea. But just to make certain, I'm sure we'll be putting this in about with the open air, the openness above. You did make a mention in your papers about not having amplified music, but we want to, I would hope that you would not have any music too loud that it would be a detriment to the neighbors. That would be just my suggestion.
No, we don't have plans to have any music amplified or at all after 9 p.m. anyways.
Oh, okay.
Any other member of the board have any questions? All right, seeing none. Emily, any questions or comments?
Both. But my first question, just to clarify, so it'll basically be you'll have the restaurant 4 to 9, I believe you stated, and then once the restaurant closes, there'll be a little bit of lag time and then the lounge opens. So you're not planning on having the lounge then kind of flow to the second floor?
Exactly. There won't ever be a moment where both places will be simultaneously open.
Okay, great. So then with that, I wanted to amend a few points from my staff report. So I did have the meeting minutes from the special meeting when council first approved the, Rancho Merengue. And so there was supposed to be parking at South 10th and Chestnut, which is, there's like a City Mart that has a parking lot. So they did provide a parking agreement for there. As long as they keep that parking there, since both uses are not going to be running at the same time, they actually don't have any increased parking requirements. The minutes didn't state and their permit didn't state specifically how many parking spaces they were to have. So it is assumed that they would be having all of the parking spaces, or they would need to tell us exactly how many at what time. However, we would appreciate more parking. And so if they still wanted to utilize the lot at that corner of Franklin with that alley right there, that would still need to get its own separate approvals. But at the moment, as long as they reestablish and keep the parking at South 10th and Chestnut, they actually don't have any increased parking requirements. I did also want to comment, there was in the minutes where the previous zoning administrator had stated that should this building get sold at some point, that the new owner would need new approvals. And I just wanted to state for the record that that was incorrect. Zoning decisions stay with the property no matter who owns it. So I just wanted to kind of put that in the record, just because it was incorrect at that time what was stated. Other than that, the rest of my recommendations for conditions still would apply. And then in regards to the signage, I just need a revised site plan providing all of the information. And it should, as long as it meets the requirements for that district, I should be able to approve that at staff level.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Mr. Cruz and would be able to provide that.
All right.
Thank you.
Good. All right, Mr. Price, anything?
No, the only thing is that first application, you should take action on that.
Okay.
The daycare that they didn't show up.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up and then we'll go to that. All right. Anybody in the audience have any questions? Seeing none. Anybody in the audience want to testify for the granting of the application? Seeing none. Anybody wish to testify against granting the application? Again, seeing none. Okay, that closes this appeal. Do you have anything, Ms. London, you want to add?
Nothing further. Mr. Cruz will talk about the permit for the sign and getting an application in.
Okay, yeah, we understand that. Thank you. All right, that closes this appeal. A decision will be issued at next month's meeting. You need not attend. And we thank you for your presentation. And we're going to go back to the first appeal we had this evening. And let's see what's here. I lost my paperwork. Anyway.
2408.
Yeah, it's appeal 2408-0028, 1506 North 13th Street. The applicant has not shown up. So I'm going to make a motion to close this hearing and deny it. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
All in favor to
Aye.
deny?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed to deny?
Right.
It's
Okay.
denied.
That is denied. So we thank everybody. Gentlemen, I guess, Emily, you can kind of take everybody else off. And we have a couple of things we might want to talk about very quickly.
Have a good night, everybody.